Welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet Hyperfixation Edition. We are continuing on the last bits of our snails here. Oh, this is my last large snail that we're going to do, and then we have a couple more over there. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, I still don't have many updates at the moment on my life and things going on there. Mostly because while this is not the same day as the last two videos, it is only the next day as far as when I'm recording this. So no changes on the house as far as I'm aware. By the time this comes out, there might be some updates, but we'll see. And I made the decision that I'm going to sew the butterfly onto the skull here. I could, glue it and whatnot, but I want a more secure hold. And glue over time, especially if I'm using hot glue, which I probably would be, would just kind of unstick eventually. So I'm going to sew it on. It's probably going to be a pain because it is a ironed patch. I've ironed it together. That's fine. This has a unique shape to it. Obviously, because it's a skull. So sewing it in place is a little bit of a challenge of where do I position the snail so that I can see what I'm doing. I don't think I need this page anymore. Now, this shell is not straight on the body. I did purposely put it at an angle because the body is not perfectly uniform with the other ones. It has some character. It's kind of turned to the side, which was an accident, but I am going with it. It gives it more character. Hope that goes through both layers all the way. It did. I'm so good. my life a little bit easier there. But it still has a little bit of bounce off of it, but it is still quite secure. We just got to get this little spot here. And then the next fun part is going to be sewing the butterfly on without breaking my needle. So now we can make a little knot. Hide the string and snip snip. Now we're going to get an actually sharp needle because it needs to go through fabric. We're going to work on this butterfly here. Make sure it's positioned the way I want it to. We're going to get a bunch of this green thread because I'm probably going to be sewing through the wings, so I want it to match as closely as possible. Alright, we're going to go through the bottom here. Up, up, go. And I did not put a knot in the thread because it doesn't really have anything to grab onto. And I just had it stuck on my elbow. So we're going to try to do that again. That's okay. I got a little more in line with the body this way. What we're going to do is we're going to make a knot directly on the butterfly, I think. Probably be our best bet here. Not perfect, but it is a start. We have our little anchor there. I'm going to just go through. Carefully, but still forcefully push it through. And I want to make sure don't let this stay visible. I think I can take this pin out now, at least partially attached. Now, we're going to switch tactics just a little bit. I'm going to try and get this to go on the other side of the butterfly's body. It kind of stays in place. Grab things. Takes apparently a lot of concentration. So it's a good thing I had some tea this morning. And in case anyone was wondering, with my last couple of videos, I did end up finishing my laundry. So don't fret. And this time, I did remember to bring water with me. Apparently, we got super wrapped around the butterfly this time. And I think this should be our last stitch here. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. Cool. I'm just going to make this right here. As always, hide the little string. Position our butterfly. Snip that. And now our snail is finished. And I don't need the sharp needle again, so I'm going to put it away before it ends up in my foot. So, this little guy can be put up against things, so it looks like he's eating them. Has a cute little butterfly and a less cute skull. Lots of personality on this one. Alright, We're gonna go for this one. This one is labeled as the medium snails. So far, all I've done are the giant snails. The patterns on this are kind of entertaining because it goes small, medium, and giant. Not large, giant. But these should not take very long. There's a lot less surface area to do. There's also only 2 antennae instead of 4. Because anything smaller, especially in this size yarn, would be almost impossible to make. These little guys will not have saddles. They could have leashes. That is an option of things to make for them in the pattern book. All of these have been by Megan Lapp, which I of course put in the description. But apparently 2026 is year of the snail for me, which is fitting. Slow to get things out, slow to get things done. But it's okay. I did come across a ambitious idea. Found a pattern for some butterfly motifs. I will have to double check who they're by. But I did kind of have to write out the pattern myself while watching the video because the video was not in English. I don't know what language it was in, but I couldn't understand it. I was sitting there watching this 17-minute long video, trying to figure out how to put these things together and make them. I managed to make it, and it looks cute. These are what they look like. Cute little butterflies. Um, they're about using a size 3mm hook. This one turned out to be 3 inches wide, 2 inches tall. And I'm considering making a shawl out of them, like a poncho of short sorts, and putting a big butterfly on the shoulder. However, the small ones, I would need to make a minimum of 106 of these butterflies to make a shawl that will fit me. And that's just guesstimating. It might be more. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to figure out. Um, I would probably have to sew together all the pieces because when you make these, you kind of make 3 pieces and then sew the 3 together. And then for the actual shawl, I would be chaining them together with a crochet hook. So you might see me occasionally sewing butterflies together. These definitely take a lot less time to put together than the giant snails. Just like making all the parts. Everything's a little smaller, so it doesn't take as long to make each piece. But at the same time, when you're working with small yarn, the smaller projects are sometimes harder to hold on to, so they do take a little bit of time on that. My brain is currently in waiting mode because I'm waiting to see if we're going to actually get the house. We've been approved on everything. It's just a matter of, is the house actually safe to buy and a good investment, which is what we're waiting for the inspections for. I'm waiting to see if I need to pack things, and I should probably start doing anyways. Going through things. We'll have more time, especially with if we do get this specific house that we've made an offer on. Because our lease isn't up until like a month or two after our closing date. So we'd have time monetarily speaking. Our first mortgage payment isn't due until like the month before our lease is up. But we can take our time, which is nice. It's time for my neighbor to mow his lawn. We've been letting our lawn grow for a couple reasons. One, the cats really like moving around in there, and we like finding snakes and stuff in our yard. We like those. Can't tell by the fact that I own one that I caught in my own backyard. It's fun to find all sorts of critters out there, and if you have a well manicured lawn, it's less likely to have critters in it. They don't have a good place to hide. We like keeping it a little more wild. Also, we plan on moving, so we're not gonna sit here and do lots and lots of lawn maintenance every weekend. We're just gonna wait until we're about to move, and then we'll make it look all nice and modern, standardized, whatever city expectations before we go. Mm, I'm gonna move this string down a little bit and we'll snip it off. I don't want to snip it off and then things start unraveling. That would be unfortunate. And that is the medium cone shell. We'll do the medium round shell, which is going to take a little bit longer because I've got to do the shell, gotta stitch that together, and the antenna on the body, and then of course attaching it to the body as well. Now you'll notice this one is laying flat. Funny thing about that, there is not a medium uh, body that is flat. I used the small body pattern, but I used a slightly larger yarn so that it would match up size. Not super noticeable, just looking at the yarns, but it is ever so slightly. Alright, undo that. Pull this back. Uncurl it a little bit, just so I can get to curls here. I think I can pull these out now. I don't think I need them now that I've got the main spiral started. Going around. Working with smaller things makes it difficult to hold on to. You will poke yourself under your fingernail. But we get a really nice curl. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and go into the side wall down here and add next loop. Get it nice and tight. And we're losing our stuffing while we do this. Now we have our spiral made and secured. Go ahead and set that aside for now. We're going to put on the antenna. I need to trim the edge of this so that it will cooperate with my needle. There we go. go. Now we can put the shell back on the body, but first we need a drink. I did get a new cup. It does still have chickens on it, but I kind of needed a cup that I could go on work trips without being offensive. Alright, so this on the body is still just a little bit small for the shell, but it's fine. Big deal. Considering at some point making one that's colored like Gary the snail from SpongeBob. We will see if that happens. Because what I'd probably need to do is just make it a solid color and then make a bunch of spots or embroider a bunch of spots on it. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I think my self-medication worked a little too well. I was attempting to decide what I wanted to do today. And so I had some tea to help me focus and make a decision, and now I'm not as talkative, which is a little more difficult on the recording portion. I don't have as much to yap about when I'm slightly medicated. Believe it or not, caffeine is a way of self-medicating. Caffeine is a drug, not like a recreational necessarily. It can be a pharmaceutical. But I don't have it very often. I don't want a caffeine addiction or dependency. And now we're getting to the part where everything is being difficult. So I think it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyways, that the round shells take longer to put together than the spiral shells, strictly because I have to sew the spiral together. There are more steps involved in putting them together. However, personally, I like the round shell look better than the spiral shell. Like the round shell look is just, he's a happy boy. Whereas the spiral shell might be out to get you. Ow. Did also make this spiral go the opposite side as the others. Because that's also a thing. You know, giving him a little more personality. It looks like he's turning. All right. Now this one I did have him arcing upwards instead of being flat. But I am just going to get rid of this string here because I don't think we need it. I don't think I need to do any real sculpting on this little guy. I just need to get him put together. This is going to be fun. Hmm. I think I just very carefully go all the way through. I'm not going to be able to do it as cleanly as the larger one because it is so small. But we can throw it across the room. Doesn't necessarily need to be a clean spiral. You know, just one that makes sense. Yeah, that's good enough. still gets the point across. You still have a nice defined spiral. It's not going to go anywhere and get undone. Maybe a little bit there, but who's really going to be doing that? It's okay to have just good enough. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part. It's small enough that you can kind of cheat. I think spring is finally hitting me. Something is blooming that my body is not a fan of, and that's okay. And then we hide the evidence. And apparently we have to untie a knot. Apparently I can't go a single day of these videos without needing to untie a knot. You're doing so well too. Alright, we might be able to finish this one before. Actually, we will just finish this one before time's up. Because I said so. I'm in control of these videos. I make the time limit, whatever. So next time we'll have one snail and some other things to do. But we're finally through my backlog of snails. least I'm not spending 4 weeks on the same snail. 4 weeks on different versions of the snails. I mean, I've got three different styles and three different sizes, so that's something at least. Maybe you also really like snails. I don't know. What's funny is I don't even really like snails all that much. The pattern is just fun to make. They have so many options. Alright, we have finished several of our snails. Not all of them, but several. They come in many different shapes and sizes. One more to do. So you'll see me finish him next time. But with that, we'll go ahead and end it here. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you would like more content like this and another snail, subscribe and maybe hit the notifications so you know when I'm away, when I'm here. And yeah, see you next time.